Will Smith hits Chris Rock in the face on Oscar stage for mocking wife. Nothing has opened my eyes to the biblical illiteracy of Christians like this incident. I posted this just because I wanted to see what kind of reaction we would have. Because, I mean, everybody, kind of knows what happened. And maybe they don't know, but the whole, you certainly are living in a hole in the ground if you haven't heard it, because this is like news covered all over the place. So Chris Rock delivers a joke about Will Smith's wife's Jada. Mm-hmm. Now I'm good. Now everyone's leaning in. Everyone's ready to pick apart any detail I missed. So go ahead, Mercedes. Can you tell us exactly?
I just, you know what, I look at it, I'm like, is Lance going to get the pop culture references right?
Will Smith slapped Chris Rock in the face while the comedian was on stage at the 2022 Academy Awards after joking about the actor's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. The startling moment occurred as Rock was presenting the nominees for Best Documentary. Now, he added a joke that wasn't in the script because it had been in the script. Somebody might have, in that ever woke and hypersensitive, politically correct environment of Hollywood, pointed out that she has a condition that causes her to lose her hair. It's called alopecia.
Alopecia. Mm-hmm.
And that the hair loss is related to that. And maybe that would be like a little that might be a not go area, because it's like making fun of somebody's defect, physical defect. Mm-hmm. So he might have eliminated, but he ad-libbed the joke. Now, comedians are kind of like the spotted owl for the progressive liberals. They're an endangered species. You can't hardly find them. It's courageous when they even come out. Seinfeld and other guys won't even do college campuses anymore because they're so woke, they're not even funny. They can't work with the audience. So comedians are we got to protect them. And so he goes out and does a joke about, she should star in, G.I. Jane 2. And, Will Smith, the strange thing is here, he first laughs, then he looks over at his wife, realizes it's not funny, and he walks up on the stage and smacks the guy in live television in front of the world. Complete lack of self-control, just like, and then he goes up. But what is weird about it is not smacking, Chris Rock, who's 5'8", and Will Smith is 6'2", played Ali, by the way. So the guy is built like a boxer, takes out a 5'8" little comedian guy, smacks him in the face. Open palm, but that could still be destructive. So like martial artists will use the palm. So the reality is the world is shocked, but then he gets up on stage and issues an apology to the Academy, not to the guy he hit, because love will make you do crazy things, and he really just wants to be a vessel of light and kindness and love. And so he makes this absurd kind of circular reasoning about how he's trying to channel all the goodness of God in the universe through him. And then he goes out afterward and has a party dancing with the stars and his friends after getting a standing ovation like 40 minutes later, after doing the SmackDown routine, and everybody gets up and supports him with a standing ovation, which I think puts all of Hollywood into the crosshairs of the criticism of popular culture that says that they live by a double standard. They preach to us by the yard, they live it by the inch. And this did not go well. So anyway, Smith continued dissatisfied with Rock's response, and he said, "Keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth," leading to audible gasps from the audience because he shouts it out twice now from the audience. Well, the altercation surfaced immediately, and of course it's gone viral like nobody's business. I'm giving you what happened in Hollywood. What is interesting to me is I just happened to post this thing real quick on social media and on Facebook. So the only place I put it. And I kind of just said, the new memory verse on Will's refrigerator, since he's getting religion, is, the fruit of the Spirit is self-control. Because that's just an inside joke for people that read Galatians in the Bible, which is a very small group, by the way. And I made note to self, if you're going to be doing an acceptance speech, try not to punch the announcer before you go up, especially if you're going to be talking about God's love. So anyway, the responses is the point that I'll open the mic on. I may not like what I'm hearing, but I'm not going to judge because I have a new axiom today it'll help everybody. It'll deliver you from many rage moments. It's that I value self-determination in myself, and I give others the same right. This is something the left doesn't understand. I value self-determination in myself, and I give others the same right. So you can be self-determining in your conclusions. But the responses I read in my text thread, I mean, they got into open battles right there. I should probably have practiced that feature where you can't comment. You know, like no comments. But it's so interesting. I mean, they were fighting with each other because we had people that are Christians. This is the point I'm going to make. Christians that said, well, I'm just glad that, you know, he did that because it was a chivalrous thing for him to go and defend his wife, and I'm glad he did it, and I'm, you know, and I hope people learn a lesson. And then you have other people that are coming back and saying, you know, that he should not have received Academy Award, let alone a standing ovation, that the Academy itself is put in a really awkward place because they're condoning violence on live television for something said that was a mistake that the comedian said not knowing the full story. So it's like for words that offended you, that the guy wasn't aware completely with the context of his own joke. For you to do that is such a violation of performance etiquette that as a professional, you should be punished in some way that everybody knows the Academy doesn't approve. But the Academy, give them an Academy Award and a standing ovation, and they got a problem. So now, comments? Mercedes, Jonathan, Carl, everybody's got to weigh in on this.
Yeah, ladies first.
I think that there's a lot that's going on there in their marriage. She had cheated on him, and, you know, they had said that they have an open marriage, but I don't know how open it really was.
Explain to me, what is an open marriage?
Oh, it's like supposedly where the spouses agree to sleep with other people, but you're still committed to the relationship that you're in with your actual married spouse. But anyways, so it's been a very public expose of their marriage and how she had slept with somebody else. Also, I'm fairly confident Chris knew that she had alopecia. She's like super open about it online, in her, you know, and on her social media and the struggle that it's been for her, which is like an autoimmune disease. But in no way do I think that because you're offended, the answer to that is physical violence in any way, shape, or form. I think that that's something that the left works very hard to condition people that physical violence is okay if you're morally outraged for some reason. And I think that that's wrong. I think that's something we're losing in society, which is we don't use physical violence. We use our words, we use the law, whatever we need to do. But physical violence, I don't think is excusable. I mean, even if he would have just sat in his chair and yelled at him, I think it would have had a very similar effect. I think, anyway, so I'll let Carl respond here too, but I think one of the reasons he responded the way he did, I don't know if you saw it, but initially he's laughing at the joke as well. And you could see it in the camera, you see Jada's face, and she's like, kind of like upset, rolls her eyes. I think he notices it, and then he walks up there, you know, in very strong A-type energy. But anyways, those are my insights.
An anger problem. Listen, that's a self-control issue. That's the guy if he had a gun in an automobile.
I mean, he didn't punch him. He slapped him in a really disrespectful way, for sure. It's almost more demeaning, I think, for a man to slap you than it is to punch you in the face.
Well, I guess I think it is. But I think there's also another thing, which is it's a sucker punch. Mm-hmm. Because the other guy, who once again I want to tell you, he's 5'8" against a 6'2", you know, guy who plays a heavyweight boxer. Hey, this is Lance. I hope you enjoyed that segment you got. That's not the entire podcast, but I'd like you to hear the entire message. We have a lot of interesting things you didn't get to cover in this segment so far. Go to lancewallnau.com/podcast and watch the entire unedited